Hello.
What's up? I guess we're live. Congratulations. Blake in a new studio. The software giving us new prompts as we're trying to go live. It's always something here in the new American media. This is the Agree to Disagree show. We're going to cover the news in the quickest hour. Quickest hour in all of independent journalism. That's Blake
maybe
Walley,
once,
formerly known as Blake the Eccentric, formerly known as TV's Blake Walley. What other also known as have you had, Blake? Any other?
Yeah, let's get into the weeds for 5 minutes first before we do the quickest show. No, I don't know. Those are the two names. Is there another name? I'm not sure if there is one. Blake Walley, TV's Blake Walley, Blake the Eccentric.
All right, jump right into the news since Blake has no time for chit chat. I just want to discuss this story. It wasn't in the stack, but there was another shooting over the weekend. Well, not over the weekend, but what was that? Yesterday. Blake, would you agree or disagree that public shootings seem to happen more often when a Democrat is in the White House? It's just, here's a parade for the Chiefs, and now here's a thing, and now you're seeing Kelsey quotes that guns need to be, you need gun restrictions, and I don't know if the quotes are accurate or not, but it's just like, God, if it doesn't feel like an exact replica of the Obama years, pushing this, hey, we're going to flood the country with 15 million people, and we're going to disarm the good guys. I don't know. Is that just me? Or do you get that same sentiment that it seems like shootings happen more often and they're propped up more by the legacy media when a Democrat's in the White House?
Yeah, I could agree with that. Yeah, they definitely want to push that agenda. And while they're in power, they'd love to put new restrictions on guns. So that could be, or whatever the media focuses on. Maybe it's exactly the same. It just depends on what they want to cover. And it's a lot easier to get your media to cover when you're running the White House, like in Obama or Biden or whoever's running Biden, to say, yeah, we want to see you guys cover these stories. There's another shooting event, and there it is. Are you talking about the Chiefs parade, or is this a different one?
Yeah, Chiefs parade. And there were some heroes that tackled the guy, and unfortunately, one person was killed and several other people were seriously injured. It's not like they were just grazed. Lives are ruined, all because of stupidity. They're saying it was maybe an argument between two underage gangs. And it's like, just throw these people in jail. These violent idiots, just lock them up, throw away the key. Instead, you have Huma Abedin's George Soros Jr. What's the guy's name? The Soros kid? Alex, right.
Yeah, I got something in the stack with him.
I saw that. So we're going to talk about the other stories. I guess let me go from the bottom to the top. Well, I guess that one was there. We're going to ask if we should be concerned about Iran setting up a base in Antarctica. Is it a morally strong choice to send $95 billion to Ukraine? Let's just light it on fire, I think. Joe Biden's DHS. Are they planning a mass release of illegals? There we go. George Soros. Yeah. Buying hundreds of radio stations. What's the purpose of that? Also, Fani Willis. Should she be disqualified? Yeah. Or jailed? Okay, we'll talk about that. Who is the greatest adversary in the world today? I remember when Mitt Romney mentioned that in the debate with Obama. And I think Obama's response was, the 1950s called and wants your foreign policy back. I believe that happened. Call me crazy. But let's start with the number one story. This once again ties back to Obama, as all terrible things seem to. We'll get to it right now. All right, Blake. So do you agree or disagree that Obama's CIA deliberately staged an entire Russian collusion hoax?
That appears to be what happened. Yes, they were concerned about their rival and an outsider taking the reins of power. And yes, they used that as an excuse. They made up this whole Russian collusion hoax, which they ran for over 2 years, trying to pin something on Trump, and it turned into a big fishing expedition. They thought they would maybe connect something as they dug through it all, but they were unable to connect anything. So apparently this was all just one big setup from the beginning. We kind of knew that. Now there seems to be new information. This is video from a couple of days ago here. Breaking new information coming to light about Russia collusion hoax perpetrated against Trump that links the entire thing to Obama's corrupt CIA. I guess there's also a missing top secret binder.
Yes, the binder. Perhaps the entire reason why a former president's home was fucking raided in the middle of the night. Huh. Go figure. Like you said, Blake, we've known this for, I don't know how many months we've known this. We've been reporting on this for a long time since all this stuff happened. But I guess these stories help the normies understand that we're not making these stories up. I don't know. Does it even move the needle when Matt Taibbi and Michael Schellenberger, when they come out with these reports? Do you think more people wake up when it ends up on Fox? Do you think more people care? I don't know.
It's about getting that information on some of these leftist outlets, but that's not going to happen. I mean, maybe if they can kind of force them to try to cover something or get some of these liberals to see another point of view, but a lot of them are just run from their safe spaces. So they just block a lot of people, or they've left, places like X where you can find this information on, what's formerly known as Twitter, so that they can go to Meta's Threads or what have you. So they can just continue to live in their bubble and believe whatever they want to. But yeah, we can run part of this
CoLlUsIoN hoax. Everything's Russian. Blame Putin. You're a Putin puppet. You're a Putin puppy. These guys are so stupid. They keep going back to the same tired frame jobs.
Yeah, well, they really wanted to believe it, and it's I guess it's hard for them to let it go. They're still trying to find it, and then they don't. Yeah, and the fallout is going to be whether they're going to turn the tables onto Obama administration.
Oh, please, let's do that. It is so overdue, Blake. Is that a Jesse Waters? Do you want to play a kind of?
Yeah, we can try it.
To set it up.
I haven't even seen it all, so yeah, let's run.
Yeah, I watched this one yesterday. It's damning, but it's also the same stuff we've been talking about for a year. But
yeah, well, you wanted to make it the headline today, so let's.
It's the number one story. Obama, Clinton, Bush, Cheney. These people need to be in jail. The amount of criminal activity that's happening with the CIA, from all of the Justice Department, from the top levels. And this isn't just, the tax policy went from 13.5% to 14.25%. We're not talking about tiny little differences in government. We're talking about 15 million illegal invaders storming the border because Biden assumed power. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of Ukrainians being shredded into a meat grinder in Russia. These are not inconsequential, slight differences. I'll do 1 dash of pepper or 2 dashes of pepper in the recipe. And, it's a slightly spicy, a little bit of a tingle. Yeah, maybe a 3rd dash. These are radical differences because these radicals have infiltrated the government and they're driving us into the ground. We will have no country left if we don't get this stuff fixed. We're going to end up without power because that's the other thing. They're trying to say, Russia collusion. Russia's going to launch a nuke and it's going to shut our power grid down. No, it's the deep state that's going to do that. And maybe that's the October surprise we should be bracing for this next election, since they can't run COVID 2.0. But yeah, these are not inconsequential, slight differences because they overthrew the government in 2013. Everything that the 51 intelligence officials lied about with Hunter's laptop, showing how compromised, how blackmailed, how bribed these people are, these Bidens, these corrupt motherfuckers. Everything there, the intelligence agencies are lying through Chris Wallace, lying through Fox News, lying through CNN to prop their puppet up to kill hundreds of thousands in Ukraine, to launder billions of dollars, hundreds of billions of our fucking dollars, to bring 10 million, 15 million illegal invaders from God knows where, from God knows, with God knows what purpose. Everything is falling to shit because of what Obama has done. So yes, I think it is the number one story, Blake. I'm kind of convinced.
No, that's fair enough. Yeah, it's totally taken us off this horrible trajectory here. They've tried to, gaslight us into believing this massive hoax, and they're going after us. Yes, and they are destroying the country so that they can stay in power, I suppose. So, but yeah, just to add to what you were saying, there is this part with Cernovich here, but this was something that they were putting out in the media about 2 days ago. The Senate saying Russia was losing the war in Ukraine. Of course, we've heard that many times. But today they're saying, oh, no, Russia has developed space nukes. So they've got UFO technology.
Okay.
To say anything to steal from American taxpayers. So they got to keep this war going on with Russia or something. They've got to have a proxy war. They've always got to have a conflict going somewhere. We could check out part of this Jesse Waters clip as well. Let's check it out.
For years, we were told that tips from an Australian diplomat tipped off the FBI after a random conversation with Papadopoulos, a no-name 20-something. But according to new reporting by Michael Schellenberger and Matt Taibbi, the whole thing was a CIA setup. Former CIA Director John Brennan identified 26 Trump associates to be targeted by the Five Eyes Intelligence Alliance, and then those interactions were the targets and were targeted by the FBI as suspicious. And that's how the FBI launched the Russia CoLlUsIoN hoax. The details of this entire operation have been stored in a top secret binder in a secret room in Washington. Trump ordered the whole thing declassified, and now the rumor is that the binder might be missing. Joining me now, one of the reporters who broke the story, Michael Schellenberger. Michael,
just something I had to look up, the Five Eyes. That's an Anglosphere intelligence alliance comprising Australia, Canada, New Zealand, US, and the UK. I had to look that one up because I'm like, who are the Five Eyes? But that's who that is. And yeah, the binder, Blake. This is the reason why they stormed Mar-a-Lago, because they're dead to rights, they're busted, and they're in trouble. They know that they're about to face the full wrath of, I don't know, not vengeance, but justice. That's the word that's been missing in our country for so long. Justice. Okay.
Right. Yeah. I would love to see that, flip the script on that. They certainly deserve it, and they'll do anything to protect themselves. But, yeah, they've got a lot of explaining to do if we can ever find a way to hold them accountable.
explain how this all started with the CIA picking these 26 Trump people.
Yeah, good to be with you, Jesse. Well, obviously, this is an extremely serious story and serious allegation by multiple credible sources that Public and Racket, that's Matt Taibbi's publication, have spoken to. These are people that are close to the House intelligence investigation of how the Russia collusion hoax began. The story, as you mentioned, was that, oh, we were just informed by foreign intelligence about this. Our sources tell us a very different story, which is that this was initiated by the U.S. government. It came from within the U.S. government's intelligence community, including the CIA, that they asked the so-called Five Eyes nations intelligence agencies, that's the other English-speaking nations, including Britain and Australia, to spy on 26 Trump associates, or at least they had a list of the 26 associates that were identified. This is new information. Some people have theorized about this and speculated about it. We feel very confident that our sources were in a position to know and are very credible in this report. And it's obviously a very serious allegation because this is illegal spying and it's illegal election interference.
Yeah, that's also key. This is definitely election interference. They still lost anyway, but now it appears that they did something in 2020. They went all out to make sure that Trump couldn't stay in power so that he couldn't retaliate against them.
And these are crimes, Blake. These are the highest crimes and misdemeanors. Obama should be sitting in a prison cell for this. You cannot do what he did and get away with it. And the 51 intelligence officials. So they know exactly what they're doing. They know exactly the laws that they're breaking. The process will show you their intent. Getting 26 people to get pinned so that they can try to circumvent the laws that keep them from spying on private citizen Trump and candidate Trump. They fucking did it anyway. These people need to be in a gulag. The people in the intelligence agencies that are running roughshod over our constitutional rights. We have civil liberties that prevent this type of shit, and they've been getting away with it since they killed JFK. Blake, everything is pulling apart at the seams. All of the stitching is coming undone. I don't know how our nation survives. I really don't. If there's no justice, wait, what's the second part of that? What does BLM yell every time they burn a city down?
No justice,
something.
No peace.
Oh yeah, maybe. There's that part. I mean, who are we supposed to? Is Batman coming in? Is Superman flying through the window to take care of this? Or are we supposed to trust a plan? It's like, we all know this. Schellenberger's like, here's new information. It's like, I like you, Schellenberger, but piss off with that. We've been talking about this for half a year. We've been talking about this for, God, I mean, how long have we been talking about Perkins Coie and Hillary Clinton and the DNC, the Alpha Bank hoax? We've been talking about all this shit so that they could spy on Trump, so that they could rig that election. We've known this for years. The Steele dossier, Trump got peed on. Now he's a Putin puppet. He's a Russian asset. He must be voted against. These people need to be in jail. We've been talking about this for 7 years. I don't know how.
Yeah, who's going to put him in jail unless we win this election here?
Okay, so
they control the power, right? So now we can't do anything.
All right, let's hear the rest of this.
Let's keep rolling. Okay, here we go.
Okay, so you're reporting that the CIA got these allies to bump these 26 Trump associates, create interactions, and then call these interactions suspicious and let the FBI know they were suspicious. And that starts the whole thing. What about this binder that encapsulates this whole thing? And no one knows where it is right now, or Trump has it. What's that?
This is hilarious.
Well, Jesse, we'll have a piece tomorrow that is specifically about the binder, but as a friend of the show and of yours on this, I'll say that there has been widespread speculation that this binder was the reason or a reason for the FBI raid of Mar-a-Lago, and we'll be discussing that tomorrow. But obviously, if this binder contains what we have been told that it contains, which may include raw intelligence, information showing that the U.S. government, the CIA and the intelligence community of the U.S. government, initiated the Russia collusion hoax, that it did not occur in the way that the official story, including the Durham investigation, had portrayed it, then that's extremely serious information. And it may be, if the FBI then went to go get it in order to continue the cover-up of this information, that obviously adds an even more dramatic wrinkle to this. Again, we'll have more to say about it tomorrow, but this is a huge, huge story. I mean, I've been thinking about it in the history of the United States of America. Have we ever had something like this where the intelligence community was weaponized against a political candidate and using our foreign allies to do it? I can't think of a more important or dramatic story. Yeah, and then going to great lengths by using FBI raids to cover it up. That's just an absolute incredible development. Great reporting to you and to Matt, and we look forward to your report tomorrow. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and they also infiltrated all these social media companies and called that all out as misinformation. And
oh yeah, I mean, how heavily censored have you been? Have I been? Have everybody in the independent media? We've all been censored. This is just I did a quick search on X. By the way, follow Blake. He's at TV's Blake Walley, and follow the New American Media at American_media_. I did a quick search for binder to see if Schellenberger put anything new up, but his last one was 20 hours ago, it seems. So maybe something will be dropping later tonight. But this is an interesting one from Insurrection Barbie. It says, panic in D.C. Full-blown white-knuckle panic over these missing CIA binders, the inability to get Ukraine their upcoming bribe payment, the damning Her report, and the fact that Trump won't face trial until after election. I find it quite coincidental that all of a sudden there are mass shootings started up again, and vague and obscure national security threats being leaked. Chaos and fear is necessary for the destabilization of a country. And this reply underneath here is, now that Schellenberger has confirmed what we all suspected, when is the right time for Trump to drop the hammer on Obama, Brennan, the rest of this alleged treasonous group? More importantly, how are they going to be held accountable? And so, Blake, that is the $1 million question.
Yep.
What now?
Yeah, that's a good question, because I don't know if we can trust the election system. They've obviously done everything they could in 2020 to make sure that Trump would not win. And there's no reason for them to have a hey, there's Nimbus. No reason for them to have integrity and transparency going in, because they can't afford to lose. They literally can't afford to lose, or they're going to have justice retaliation, and they deserve it after what they've done.
Oh, they deserve every bit of what's coming. They deserve 10 times more than whatever's coming. And whatever is coming is massive and well-deserved. Okay.
Which is why they'll do whatever it takes to make sure that does not happen.
Well, screw them. We got no country if we don't fix this. There is no more pushing things off and, well, as long, I don't know, I'm getting along okay. I just don't want to cause waves. I don't want to speak up. It's like, my God, we have got to get our lives under control, get our country under control. Okay, anything else you wanted to add about Obama, the CIA, and how he's a treasonous bastard?
TikTok, motherfuckers. I don't know. There you go. Maybe,
right.
Or not. Or we're going to end up in a gulag. It's going to be us or them, I suppose.
Oh, it's TikTok for one of us. So, two people enter, one society emerges. Which one do you want it to be? Next topic. All right, Blake, agree or disagree that Putin and Russia are see, when we put our, that's hard to say. Putin and Russia are the United States' greatest adversaries in the world today. Agree or disagree? Putin and Russia, biggest adversaries.
No, but I mean, if you listen to the media, that's what they want you to believe. And so they absolutely freaked out over this Tucker Carlson interview, because they want to push that narrative. Yes, that Trump was they're colluding with Russia. They're the bad guys. And we've got to give every dollar we have to Ukraine so that they can prevent Putin from his westward expansion, which is all made up. I think it's just like in some ways, there's an article outlining many different things about the critique of Putin. One of them is probably just making this justification for having NATO in the first place, which was built as kind of, for the old Russia, but that old Russia fell. And then we were kind of buddying up with them, and now they're our sworn enemies again, like it's the Cold War. It's not. It's a very different form of Russia today. It's not the crazy, communist dictatorship of old.
Did you have a chance to watch the Tucker Putin interview?
Yeah, I've watched most of it, and I'm still working on it because I have had an extraordinarily busy week. But I am following it as much as I can and still putting it together. This was a landmark deal. And it was great to for Tucker to challenge that whole narrative. And then people have to digest this and figure out what's actually happening today. And no, I do not think Putin. I mean, you could say Putin is, kind of a, not a dictator. He's his own man, but he's very patriotic. He's very much nationalistic, very pro-Russia, obviously, and he's not part of the globalist team. So he doesn't play ball with the rest of the world, and they hate him for that. They want to absorb everybody under their collective.
Well, I've heard it described that Russia is an Orthodox Christian nation that stands on its own, so they have to be destroyed. It's a Christian nation, and they're not reaching with their hands out, like, they're not under the control of this fake money. I mean, what, you just print a piece of paper and go, now I own you? Now I want you to work for me for 100 years. It's like, because what? Because you could print a piece of paper? Piss off. Like the old way of dominating this planet, it just seems like it's all crumbling. Like, I don't know if we move to crypto. I don't know if it goes back to gold. I mean, look at Gaddafi, what he was doing. And they went, we came, we saw, he died. Says Hillary Clinton. I mean, anybody that's trying to bring the people up what is it? In Living Color, they have that song, Cult of Personality. When a leader speaks, that leader dies. You know, and they say that. It's like when you have good leaders stand up, whether it's Jesus Christ or pick a few others throughout history, what happens? You know, the powers that be don't like it. Well, we don't like the way things are going, and we've had enough of this shit. We've just had it. It's all come to a reaching a conclusion, Blake. There's no avoiding the collision course. It is a game of chicken. The two vehicles are quickly approaching each other. Who's going to pull the wheel first? Maybe nobody. Maybe just brace for impact. And the best way to brace is to just remember, kind of go limp. You want to let the accident kind of take you. It's when you get rigid. It's when you throw things out and break things. I don't know if you've ever heard that, but yeah, it's interesting. I watched the first part of Putin and Tucker, and I was fascinated by it. The body language, the history lesson, the confusion, it was just very interesting to me.
But yeah, also mentions the threat of the CIA basically controlling, puppet Biden and running foreign policy. And they cooked up this whole thing with, Obama's CIA, cooking up this whole Russian collusion hoax. And it's very problematic. And we could have, criticized Russia back in the day for being, run by KGB. And, Putin is a former KGB, but he's a principled man. And he just wants to, be on his own, be secure, be with Russia. He's not interested in world domination, but he is interested in liberating these parts of Ukraine that would rather be with Russia, which is understandable. And he's upset that the United States intervened. He wants Ukraine to be independent, but also, a little bit more pro-Russia. But of course, the United States didn't want that. They wanted they basically ran a coup, and they wanted Ukraine to be more aligned with Europe and NATO and America. And so that's been a threat to his security. And so he's got his reasons for getting involved reluctantly after all of these years, but he's been unable to strike a peace deal, and the United States doesn't want that.
So let's imagine a world where the United Nations or the the Russian equivalent would go ahead and decide to put, I don't know, maybe bioweapons labs and missiles aimed at Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, right there in Juarez, right on the other side of the border. You think the United States would be cool with that? Remember how cool we were with the Cuban Missile Crisis right off the coast of the southern tip of Florida? We're not cool with that. And that's exactly what was happening with this expansionist, this NATO expansionism onto Russia. And they're like, you guys are really creeping us out. Personal space here. Hashtag me too. I want some personal space. And it was like they just kind of kept pushing and pushing and pushing with this stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So we got a different side of the story there, directly from Putin. And what else? Another interesting note that came out of this is Putin further destroying the Trump-Russian collusion hoax, because saying he prefers Joe Biden to win. Because Trump, over Trump, because he's more predictable. He's old school. He knows what to expect out of a character like Biden and the old way, the old politicians of the United States.
Interesting.
Rather than Trump.
Because the big story yesterday or the past couple days was, oh my gosh, can you believe Trump said that the United States would not defend a NATO country if the NATO country hasn't paid their bills? Like, if you heard that one, Blake, over the past few days? And I don't know if you think back to the 1700s, Ben Franklin, I believe, is credited with starting the very first fire department in the United States. And you had to if you signed up to be a fire department subscriber, you would get a placard on your house or at your mailbox or something. I forget what it was. You get some symbol, some syndicator. And yeah, they would let the house burn right next door if they didn't sign up for the service. So like, that's how you get everyone to subscribe, and it lowers the price for everyone. If everybody's chipping in $1, then it's not so expensive for the whole city to have fire control. But yeah, I mean, the way that the United States has been taken advantage of from all these let's just say from every other fucking country on this planet at this point. Trump came out saying, the time of the U.S. acting stupidly and giving out grants and giving out free money aid packages are over. He said, the way we're doing it now is these are all going to be loans. Every dollar we give out is going to be a loan. And if maybe even at a 0% loan, but they're going to be loans, you're going to be expected to pay these things back. It's not our responsibility to run around playing Team America World Police like this. I'm paraphrasing now, but that's the same concept. It's like we don't have to put out your fire if you're not a subscriber. Of course, if you're not current on your dues, you expect the U.S. to just pay for all of your stuff. We're $34 trillion in debt. Like the weight of servicing the money we've already put on our credit card, Blake, it's already larger than our defense budget. Marjorie Taylor Greene was tweeting about that today or yesterday. It's insane. We are insolvent. We can't fix our fucking border, but we want to send it over to Hong Kong. We want to send it to Ukraine. We want to send it to Israel. What the actual fuck, man?
Yeah, no, I don't get it. And they never want to take a haircut in some of these departments. I think, when we get rid of the Russian threat back in the day in the early 90s or whatever, nobody wants to hey, let's just scale back NATO and save some money. No, they have to find they have to manufacture another threat to justify their existence. Seems like that's kind of one of the things they do now too. They've been doing for a long time. They never scale anything back. It's really easy to start these programs. It's hard to take them, get rid of them once they're already installed. Like we got this Department of Homeland Security and this clown Mayorkas.
Oh my God.
Securing the homeland, but now you're just leaving the border wide open. It doesn't make any sense. It's completely Orwellian. So I don't know. But yes, it's bloated and out of control. And yes, we need to just restructure everything. Bring some justice back and maybe change the banking system. Many different things. So I don't know where to begin. I don't know if we can cover it all in this broadcast, but seems that Russia has been pretty successful. They seem to be doing pretty well, even though they are trying to demonize them as the worst thing ever. And speaking of which, on that note, I'm also going to point out that
before you jump back to Tucker, I didn't fully wrap my point because you said about Putin saying that he would rather have Biden because he's predictable. But that was the point I was circling back around. I think I just ended on WTF. But the fact that Trump is a negotiator and he'll be all over the map. It leaves you in a position where you're kind of on the defense. You don't know, where is he going next? How serious is he? Some of these pundits are like, he's out of control. He's reckless. He's a child. It's so dangerous to have. It's like, no, this is the art of the deal. This is the negotiation. You threaten to burn everything down on every negotiation. Forget it. We're closing it down. It's over. We're going to pull out of it. I'm sorry. What? If you guys don't come to I'm sorry, we've never dealt like this before. There's a new sheriff in town, pal. Get with the program. You're like, oh shit. That is what a negotiation is. So that was just the final point I was trying to make, Blake, is that the erratic nature of not knowing what comes next. That's how you win in poker. When you can move all your chips in Texas Hold'em, and you push all your chips in on any single play. When the action comes to you, you can always go, I'm all in. It is such a wild card that you flip over. You never know if somebody's full of it or if they are dead serious. And it's like F around and find out. That is a beautiful negotiation tactic. That's why I love Texas Hold'em. I think it's one of the greatest games ever created. So I don't think that stuff is a negative on Trump. I think it's one of his biggest positives. And anybody not seeing the difference is probably lying to you, because it's obvious how that's a benefit to your side in Putin's own words. He doesn't want Trump there. He doesn't know what's going to come next. That's what you want. So anyway, back to you pulled up Tucker here, right?
Yeah, no, well, yeah, you're absolutely right there. So they've constantly trying to make it look as though Trump and Putin are on the same team, or that Trump is a puppet of Putin, and it's not based in reality. So, but they're respectable, principled guys. However, and yes, not the double crossing West and the CIA and this puppet presidency that we have. It's gotten out of control. These are just people that love their country. They're patriots. They're nationalists, and they're not going to get sucked into this globalist
hellhole.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
So,
anything else to add on this particular point, Blake?
No, I haven't even seen all of this, but I was just gonna show, because I remember they were talking about how they're turning the ruble into rubble and this and that, and how backwards and bad that Russia was, and the sanctions and
by the way, under Biden's leadership, loved by the people so much, 81 million totally legitimate votes, they had to put up a fence around it because nobody believes it. By the way, for countervailing views, go to all of the places scrolling on the ticker. What is it? CISA.gov. Yeah, CISA is so full of it too. All their exposés are coming out. But what was the point I was making? I lost it on countervailing views. Anyway, go ahead.
Just devastating the difference, and we'll show you the grocery stores and the.
Oh, that was the point. I'm sorry. That I remembered the point. The BRICS nations are trying to dump the dollar. They're trying to crash the U.S. currency. That's what the Soros universe is about. The man who broke the Bank of England. They're trying to destroy the U.S. dollar and throw us into a hellhole. So, we're on the verge of losing the U.S. dollar's dominance under the Obama-Biden watch, which is exactly what he and Soros, that's what their whole regime wants. They want the U.S. to get knocked down a few pegs. Pump 20 million poor, illiterate people who don't speak the language, have no discernible skills. You can't hire them legally off the public dole, taking money, bring in all this poor, all this, poorness. What's the word I'm looking for?
Poverty.
Poverty, thank you. Bring in tons of poverty and then lower the purchase power of the dollar down, and we'll meet in the middle in some utilitarian hellscape. It's exactly what they want. They hate that the U.S. has had it so good for so long, and they hate Trump because Trump's like, I'm the CEO. I'm fixing this country. Energy's going to be cheap. Screw you. Pay your bills. I will fight you if you don't get that fixed. Like an actual boss sitting in that seat, not a fucking puppet to the globalist people that hate you and hate everything about you. They don't like your freedom. They want you a slave. They want you under their fucking thumb. God, I've dropped 20 F-bombs, but I'm so adamant about trying to save things now because there will not be there's no do-over. It's no big deal. It is a big deal. All of this is a big deal. But anyway, Tucker at the supermarket.
Yeah, crushing our standard of living, but things seem to be fine. Unless this whole thing is staged, which it, hey, in all fairness, it could be. So everyone can discern for themselves. But here we go. Here's Tucker's little two-way grocery store in Moscow.
Long-standing feature, maybe the longest-standing feature of Cold War propaganda in the West was the Soviet grocery store. No products, no choices, shoddily made things, and it wasn't actually propaganda.
This is how a communist country does look, to be fair. That's what Cuba would look like. It's a nightmare.
It was real.
And this is exactly what Russia has looked like at some point. 100%.
So we thought it would be interesting to take a look at a contemporary, modern-day, 2024 Russian grocery store 2 years into sanctions. Here we go. All right, there we go. So I guess you put in 10 rubles here and you get it back when you put the cart back.
Oh, cool.
So it's free, but there's an incentive to return it and not just bring it to your homeless encampment.
Oh, how great would that be? Not to hate when people don't put their carts away in the parking lot. Sometimes I have to move them or they get in the way of your car doors or what have you. That's brilliant right there.
What three ultimate judges of a human being? Number one, do they return their shopping cart when they're done? Number two, how do they treat animals? Number three, how do they treat wait staff when they're out at a restaurant? Those are three of the easiest ways to determine what type of person you're dealing with. Always remember that. How they treat animals, the server, waitress, and what do they do with their shopping cart? Do they just dump it and leave it for someone else, or do they just finish their thing. Ed Reed, the Hall of Fame safety or whatever he was, cornerback, I think he was a safety for the Ravens.
Yeah,
he said when he got into that locker room, he saw people tossing they'd unwrap their elbows and they just left a mess everywhere. He came in the next day and goes, everyone, you are not going to succeed. Our team is not going to go win a championship trophy if we're acting sloppy like this on the inside. We're going to be playing sloppy on the outside. Anything you do, you put in that trash can. It's right there. I'm not doing it, and don't have our equipment manager do it. We're responsible. We're going to act like grown-ups. We're going to take care of our own business. We're going to have some damn pride in our locker room, and we're going to go out, and it changed the whole culture, among other things. But it was one of the key components. Don't just toss your shopping cart into the median. Don't just leave it in two parking spaces sideways. Pick up after yourself. This is the exact philosophy that Aldi uses. Aldi, you put a quarter in, and then it gives you the cart. Exact same thing.
Oh, Aldi does it too? I didn't know that.
That's the only place I've ever seen it. Aldi and Moscow.
Very cool.
Okay, this is the grocery cart escalator. This is designed, I'm figuring this out now, where the wheels don't move, they lock on the grocery cart escalator. Look, Ma, no hands.
Yeah,
Retail placement here is a little bit different. So it's like walking through Macy's to get to Whole Foods. Okay, we've gotten through the perfume section to get
that
to
is a little inefficient.
the grocery
I haven't
store.
seen this.
So we're gonna try and buy what a family of four would buy every week, and we're gonna see what the selection is, and we're gonna see what it costs. Now, Russia is famous for its bread, which is one thing I can assess pretty well. The low-carb lifestyle has not swept Russia. Thank heaven, because look at that. It's fresh, too. Look at that. Oh, come on. Unicorn and mini mills. All right. Some kind of Russian wheat cookies. Ooh, we need coffee, don't we? Yeah. I don't know if this is sugar.
Looks
or
like a
flour
regular
yet.
Western grocery store. That's pretty cool.
It looks like a staple, so we should get it. It's a very good-looking package. It's got to be flour, right? And this is Russian wine. It's from Crimea, which not only has the warm water naval base, but also is the source of most of the grapes in this part of Russia for wine. So it's apparently pretty good. Cheese puffs. You check out of a grocery store and you've got gum, razor blades, and candy. Actually, they hide the razor blades because we steal them. But these are all seem to be Western products. Mars, Twix, Snickers, Milky Way, Bounty, Gillette, Hall's Cough
I wouldn't
Drops.
tell you what the
Mentos.
prices are. It looks like $50 for a...
It's pretty non-sanctioned to me, but what do I know? I went from amused to legitimately angry. So we were guessing what this would cost. Everybody here from the United States buys groceries, and we didn't pay any attention to the costs as we were just putting in the cart what we would actually eat.
Yeah, I wouldn't have any idea what those prices even
And we all came in around $400, about $400. It was $104 US here. And that's when you start to realize that ideology maybe doesn't matter as much as you thought, corruption. If you take people's standard of living and you tank it through filth and crime and inflation, and they literally can't buy the groceries they want, at that point, maybe it matters less what you say or whether you're a good person or a bad person. You're wrecking people's lives in their country, and that's
So I think that's kind of the overall point here, is that they are absolutely lowering our standard of living. They're bringing in all these immigrants. We have crime out of control. Immigrants we can't, or I wouldn't say immigrants, they're illegal aliens that we can't house or feed.
Invaders, Blake. These are invaders.
We're getting absolutely destroyed at the grocery store with inflation and shrinkflation. This is no longer, we've destroyed our standards. They hate it.
If you invite somebody to your home, they are a guest. If they break into your home, they are a burglar and a home invader. They've invaded our home. They have not been invited here. So,
yeah. So this is what's happening. So the reality is, yes, the Moscow is clean. It's much lower on crime, and it looks very westernized. They hate it that it's nationalized. They hate it that it's this run by Russia, who's not a part of the whole globalist thing. Because if they had their way, if they could control Putin, then they would just be, throwing immigrants in there, lowering their standard. Everything would be under, this system of globalism run by, George Soros or Klaus Schwab. And that we would just have this, the elites ruling over the peasants in a modern sort of neo-feudalism. So, which is what they want. So they don't want these independent countries thriving.
Yes, and we don't want their ideas. Their ideas are terrible. So we'll pass. So does that make a morally strong choice to send Ukraine $95 billion more?
No, I would absolutely disagree. But yes, it's just one final point is that as Putin is pointing out, the CIA is probably running, or Putin or whoever is running behind him, and 90% believe he's not even fit to serve. And yet he's going to continue. He's clearly cognitively declined, and he should not be running anything. And he's not. We're supposed to keep playing with this illusion that he's somehow the actual president, and that he's able to negotiate with some of these people.
So once again, who's in charge of removing him from office? I mean, should he be impeached first? Should he be charged with treason for, like, in what order? He should 25th Amendment, then treason charges, then 25th, and impeachment, then 25th, then treason, impeachment, 25th. They all are happening at the same time. Which one should go first? I don't know.
I don't know, because you can't impeach him and get stuck with Kamala, whatever. I don't know.
No. She's the border czar. She gets impeached with Mayorkas. They've allowed 10, 15 million people to invade America. An intentional coup, an intentional overthrow of this country to change the demographics and the voting base. This is treason. She's the border czar. Kamala's impeached. We'd have President Johnson. I mean, obviously.
Perhaps that would be interesting, even if it's just for a few months. But I don't know if they can get any. I think they're going to try to drag Joe over the finish line, and then hopefully we can have a fair election that we can all agree on the results, and we'll see what happens from there. But okay, but otherwise we're going to keep giving more money to like Ukraine. So Zelensky is now lecturing U.S. lawmakers to be morally strong by sending him another $95 billion. And he's anticipating an equally strong moral choice. I don't know who he's questioning about our morality. This guy has basically shut down his opposition, suspended elections, gotten rid of the news media, and he's throwing any basically adult male that they can find and forcing them into the front lines and putting them into the military, even though they're not qualified or they're too old or what have you. We're just, yes, as Brian, as you pointed out, the meat grinder there. So we get more people killed fighting for what?
It's awful. For what, man? If there's not good and evil, trying to make sense of this. And the other thing coming out, as I've discussed on the past few shows without you, good to have you back. But they have come out and said that on multiple occasions, Russia has tried to call for a ceasefire, and the United States refuses. They do not want to, because it's the United States having this fight. It's not Ukraine. It's the United States in a proxy war. We're doing the same thing in Syria. Same exact shit in Syria. These people are psychopaths. And I don't know what it will take to remove them from power permanently. But like they're
like a real insurrection,
military industrial complex. They don't care about hundreds of thousands of people needlessly dying. There's no reason for any of this stuff to happen. There's no point to it. And anyone that would just take a few $1 million as a kickback and a bribe and call it a day and feel good about yourself, man, there's a special place in hell. But there needs to be a place where they can be prosecuted. And so if like you said, they're going to try to drag Joe Biden along and get him through the election, well, who's it up to 25th? It's just Congress. Congress is the only one that can remove this guy.
Yeah.
Well, get on with it. If the Senate is going to block what the House does, put the Senate on record so we know who to fire in this next term. I don't know what else to say, other than libertarians say, oh yeah, what are you going to do? Fix your problems by voting harder? Voting doesn't fix anything, Blake. Like you've said, you've become so black-pilled lately. And it's like, it's hard not to be. But like, this is the last, there's a couple seconds left in the game. I'm going to go as hard as I can for the next couple of seconds. I don't know how much time is left, but I got another play or two in me. Let's go.
I want to talk to all these libertarians because they used to think that, having an open border would be the greatest thing ever. Like, yeah, we'll just all govern ourselves. That'll be great. What's the worry about? Yeah, how's that working out for you? I'd love to get that updated explanation. But
that's a good point. Actually, one of my recent shows, 2 or 3 shows ago, I begged libertarians to get off the sidelines and participate. I won't bore you by repeating the whole conversation, Blake, but the gist of it was a good friend, lifelong friend of mine, and he's a libertarian, and I'm voting libertarian. I'm like, that doesn't work. Well, I'm not going to support either of these parties. I don't like them. I go, I'm a Cleveland Browns fan, but I'm going to watch the Super Bowl. It's the 49ers and the Chiefs. I'm going to find a storyline to say, I kind of like Christian McCaffrey and Mr. Irrelevant and the 2 defensive ends from Ohio State. I could pull for the 49ers. I guess I'll pull for the 49ers today. It's like, well, my team is not in the Super Bowl. I will not root for a team. It's like, if the libertarians are polling at number 1 or 2, vote for them. But since your team isn't in the Super Bowl, can you please step in and vote against the worst team? Can you please send Biden packing? Please get off the sidelines. But instead, it'll probably ruin a friendship of mine because he's thin-skinned about all this stuff. And he gets really salty when you ask him to please participate. I am principled. I will not vote for the lesser of 2 evils. It's like, I've done it too. I voted for Gary Johnson. I voted for Ron Paul, but I've also held my nose and voted Republican too. So I'm begging libertarians to participate. And you're right, Blake. If you want to see the reason why open borders doesn't work, ta-da, just take a look around.
Right. No, I remember I wanted to vote for Michael Bednarik in 2004, the libertarian candidate, but I ended up voting for John Kerry because I had to try to get rid of Bush and Cheney. But whatever. Not that probably would have made much of a difference, but that was a different era. Like, Trump is legitimately an outsider who can make a difference. And he's not part of the globalist cabal. And we get to see how much both sides of the deep state uniparty hate him. And you realize that, yes, he is the guy. And if you're going to be throwing your vote away for fucking Bill Weld or some bullshit, you deserve whatever happens to you.
Right. Well, do we want to talk about the illegal aliens being released since we're staying on topic? And I think you have an alien story pulled up.
Yeah, we can pull this one up. There's a Washington Post saying Biden's DHS is planning a mass release of illegals. And then warns immigrants will be sleeping on the streets. The New York City mayor, they just cannot, take care of all of them. So they're overwhelmed. So they're going to try to shove them in these sanctuary places, but they can only hold so many people. So what are they going to do next? Post reporting
them back.
Right. Yeah, but they need them as potential voting block. And then
it's criminal activity. They're doing human trafficking. There's got to be a law to arrest these people on.
Right. No, they would rather just make sure that they get licenses so that they can get car insurance, and then they're going to be paying for their health benefits and everything in California. And then they can vote, and then pretty soon, in another 20 years, we won't have a country anymore. We'll just be harboring all of these illegal aliens that we brought in from other places that are just going to vote as long as they can stay here and get the most benefits, just like they've in Venezuela or some of these other communist hellholes. They're basically have Stockholm syndrome, and they'll vote for whichever dictator gives them the most free stuff, even though they're destroying their standard of living.
Crazy.
So, yeah, it is crazy.
So they're releasing them from where? Where are the aliens at? Where are they being released from? They're just in the cities?
I guess they've drafted plans to release thousands of immigrants and slash their capacity to hold detainees after the failure of a Senate border bill that would have erased a $700 million budget shortfall. Yeah, they're actually like blackmailing us.
Shut up. Who put this article out?
Well, this is Paul Joseph Watson out of Modernity, but he's Modernity, yes, but it's from a Washington Post report.
Okay, yeah, there you go. All the no deal. Period. Fucking no. There's no deal. You undo everything you fucked up on day one with Trump's border wall. Period. You fix what you fucked. No dollars. Fix it.
No, this is all intentional. This is all flower pivoting.
Oh, the MAGA border cry. Fuck you, gaslighting bastards. God, all I'm doing today is swearing. I'm sorry, people. I really do try to not do this, but like sometimes you got to grab the magenta crayon and paint in magenta. And that's all cursing is sometimes, is just using flowery language. But damn it all. They are the worst, Blake. They are the worst. Just no deal. No, you're not going to bail out these cities to encourage more of this shit. Are they crazy? They are. You're going to give San Francisco, Los Angeles, Chicago, and New York money because their resources are stretched thin, because they're a sanctuary city violating our national laws. And then we're going to bail them out? No, let them drown. Let them drown financially. They will run every one of those politicians out of town and maybe put someone in there with some common sense. Not a dime from us should go to fixing those 4 backward cities. Name a few others. Of course they can't handle it. Nobody can handle it, which is why it's not a fucking policy that we ever agreed to.
Yeah, so I don't know if New York is going to get its shit together and like hire, elect some politicians that are going to do something, or if they're just going to flee. They're going to flee New York, and then they're just going to fill New York with more illegal aliens. It'll be another, immigrant capital, but not in the way that it used to be with people from around the world trying to build a better life. It'll just be like, this weird sanctuary state of just bringing in, illegal aliens and giving them tons of benefits.
Not a dollar, that all works out. Not a deal. Not a dollar, not a deal. You build the fucking wall. And I thought when Trump ran on that, I'm like, I don't know. I mean, is it really a big of a problem? I didn't quite realize. I'm like, I don't know. It's a big deal to him. It makes sense. You want to double and triple the width of the lanes of the ports of entry and build out infrastructure spilling into Mexico where people stay in Mexico until they're fully processed, and you do it the right way. That's where you spend your money on the infrastructure. You don't bail out a city to then say, hey, man, everything's cool. I just got paid again. Come on up. Send your cousin. Hey, tell Rico, get us up. Get all 4 of us. Coast is clear, man. Oh, coast is clear. No, right. No deal, no dollars.
Oh, they had some kind of app, too, with the Department of Homeland Security where people were asking to get sanctuary. Yeah, and then it turns out Mayorkas was from this immigration, I forget what it was, but he was actually a Cuban refugee. Did you stick your finger in the light socket there, Brian?
Look at what this conversation has done to my hair.
You look like, was it Beaker? Yeah, there you go. People are old enough to get that reference.
Yeah. So Eric Adams, what's the latest? He's whining.
Well, he's actually trying to like speak out against it, which is, that's how bad things are, because normally he was trying to embrace this whole globalism until things got way too out of control in his own backyard, until he's finally saying there's no room left in the city. Our hearts are endless, but our resources are not. It's not like New York is not saying we are not a city of immigrants. We are. We have a rich history of immigrants, but we can't take the global problem and have it become our problem. That is unfair to New Yorkers, and it is unfair to migrants. And it'd be one thing if there was an actual, like a refugee situation, but there's not.
It's all manufactured, but that's what they're coached to say that. They're all coached up by these non-governmental organizations. These are treasonous organizations that are subverting to overthrow the United States. Like these NGOs, they have their day coming too, because this is all intentional how they're putting it together. And Eric Adams, by the way, as soon as he started speaking out, they started looking into him and pressing charges too. So they're trying to remind him, don't you step out of line. Don't you dare step out of line.
Right.
Don't you lie. So, and by the way, Kenneth B is saying Engelman 2024. All right, well, here's my hat. There's the ring. But I'll say what Ron DeSantis should have said day one. I'm only doing this in case President Trump is wrongfully politically persecuted. And on day one, I will let him out and I will slide to vice president. I'll give him the position back. That's all DeSantis had to do. And he could have been super popular and in this thing. Day one, I'll
bring
get out.
back the attorney general. I don't get the whole. I don't understand why you think that he would be more effective as a VP.
No, I just, he's Trump's an old man. You want someone right there, ready to go, just in case. Look at Kamala. It's a huge. Sometimes your team is only as good as your backup quarterback. It's a tough position. But Joe Flacco won comeback player of the year based on 5 games, leading us to the playoffs. So. Anyway, yes, Kenneth B says no pity in this city. Okay, Blake, we only have a couple minutes left. We got a couple other stories. Anything else you want to add on this one?
Nope. Good.
All right, let's jump to this. Fani Willis, should she be disqualified from Trump's RICO case? Agree or disagree? Fani Willis should be disqualified from Trump's RICO. Is that the name that I used in that little skit that I did? Hey, RICO, get us up here, man.
Yep.
Did I say RICO?
You sure did.
Maybe that's where I got it from. Huh?
Yeah.
Okay. So what's up with Fani? What do you think should happen here?
Yeah, it looks like she's got to step down. She's this is all kinds of shenanigans going on here. Saying she's done. Nathan Wade testified that he paid for vacations with his business card, and Fani Willis reimbursed him in cash, keeping it off the books for his expenses. So there's some collusion here. It's over. Fani is done. An evidentiary hearing about alleged misconduct by a Soros-backed Fulton County District Attorney, Fani Willis, was underway Thursday. That's today, as the judge weighs whether Willis should be disqualified from the Trump RICO case. And according to the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, Fani Willis, she financially benefited from a romantic relationship with the top Trump prosecutor, Nathan Wade. So earlier the month, Fani Willis and Nathan Wade both got subpoenaed to testify at this evidentiary hearing. And Judge Scott McAfee on Monday said Fani Willis may be disqualified from the Trump's RICO case over her improper relationship with top Trump prosecutor Nathan Wade. So let's see. Why don't we check out part of this part of his testimony here, that he paid for all the vacations he took with Fani Willis with his business card and that she reimbursed him in cash. So this is at a time when he was getting paid by Willis's office for the prosecution of Trump. So here we go.
All I needed. You said in the affidavit that you roughly shared travel, though, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this roughly sharing travel, you're saying she reimbursed you?
She did.
And where did you deposit the money she reimbursed you?
It was cash. She didn't give me any checks.
So she paid you cash for her share of all these vacations?
Mr. Schaefer,
Cash is off the books.
step out if you do that again.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so all of the vacations that she took, she paid you cash for?
Yes, ma'am.
And you purchased all of these vacations on your business credit card, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you included those in deductions on your taxes, correct?
No, ma'am.
No, you did not. All I need.
Yeah, so there's a bit of corruption there. These are the people going after Trump in Atlanta. And this case is really falling apart in ways that we had not seen coming. But this is a spectacular disaster.
A spectacular disaster. That is so well phrased, Blake. And it reminds me of this scene. Have you ever seen The Wire? Is that a show you used to watch?
No, that the Baltimore one?
Yeah. Well, here's this quote. It's a 20-second scene. Just want to play this for you. Super famous scene.
Hey, yo, lesson here, babe. You come with the king, you best not miss.
So that was following a shootout in the streets. It was kind of whistling, bringing in the sheaves or whatever that is. And it's, you come at the king, you best not miss. We put that into a previous episode and somebody commented, Trump isn't a king. Are you serious? This is America. We don't have kings. It's like, no, goofball, no jackwad. We're saying you go at Trump, you better not miss, because look what's happening. Look what's happening. Bragg is in the spotlight. Fani Willis is in the spotlight. Obama's back in the spotlight. I'm telling you, I am praying for tidal waves. I am praying that there's that this all, what did you say? A glorious explode. How did you an implosion? Spectacular disaster. Yes, Blake. So yes, we will keep our eyes on Fani Willis. We're right about the end of your time. You got to bounce, or do you have a moment for the radio story?
Yeah, these are just the quick ones. This is a quick couple quick hitters here. I
didn't even see the radio station story, but I'm instantly intrigued.
Yeah, so you got left-wing billionaire George Soros buying hundreds of American radio stations ahead of the 2024 election. I don't know what this guy's deal is. This creepy Hungarian billionaire Bond villain, and he's just like, his whole life's work is basically like destroying our civilization. So he's got to put more. Yes, he was the reason Fani Willis is in power. He's buying up all these prosecutors, funding sheriffs, and now he's going to be buying. Yeah, he's obviously bought a lot of media projects over the years. And now he's going to be buying more American radio stations. So is it for music? Probably not. So it's going to be to push more propaganda. Obviously part of a strategy because that's what Soros does. He hatches backdoor plans to exert influence over American politics. So yes, he pumped a ton of cash into district attorney races all over the country. And we know how that all worked out. So he's he's potentially getting a controlling stake in America's second largest chain of radio stations. According to bankruptcy filings cited Wednesday in the Post, the Soros Fund Management has bought $400 million of debt in the Odyssey chain. So the report of the fund stake comes about 40% of Odyssey's debt, and he's buying it for basically 50 cents on the dollar. And so we'll see what comes out of that, but I'm sure it's going to be left-wing talk radio or something similar. And then we've also got here's this boy we talked about earlier, Alex Soros. Guess he's dating now? I thought this is Huma Abedin. This is used to be Hillary Clinton's little confidant. And it's Anthony.
Yeah, I thought Huma was in bed with Hillary, literally, figuratively.
Yeah.
And by the way, check the Anthony Weiner laptops. Check Hillary's private information on her private server. And you're going after Trump raiding Mar-a-Lago. Get out of here. Yeah, Huma Abedin, Alex Soros. Check both of their laptops, please.
Yeah, it's very wild stuff. And it's weird. Yeah, and she was actually dating, I thought Bradley Cooper there for maybe, I guess it only lasted a few months.
Oh,
which seems strange. But it didn't last long, and I had no idea. And all of a sudden, she's an item with George Soros's son. This makes no sense. Unless it's,
it's an arranged marriage,
right? It's something like that again. Like I always believed that Anthony Weiner was going to be the next president at some.
Really?
Oh yeah, absolutely. He was going to be a rock star. That he's going to be the next Bill Clinton. But
I never saw that.
But Breitbart took him out before he could get popular. He was very charismatic. He was very slick, and he was very wicked.
If you haven't seen the recent interview with him with Patrick Bet-David, you should check it out. Anthony Weiner.
Okay.
He was on within the past couple of months. It's very interesting. And I only bring this up because of the arranged marriages and the Soros connection in the first 15 seconds here.
Taylor Swift was never really that political until George Soros bought all of the rights to her music. This is
my entire catalog was sold to Scooter Braun's Ithaca Holdings in a deal that I'm told was funded by the Soros family, 23 Capital, and the Carlyle Group.
Enter Operation Taylor.
Okay, so the Carlyle Group, George Soros buying up the Taylor Swift catalog, and then all of a sudden, it's insane. The stuff that. It's all right in front of your face. All you have to do is follow the major players, follow the funding. It's not rocket science. So,
right.
All right. I guess now we got to watch that other arranged power couple, Huma and Alex.
Yeah, this one doesn't make any sense. I mean, Alex, with all the billions and billions of dollars, why would he want Huma Abedin? And she's like 47, I think. So, and he's like 30 something. She's like 9 or 10 years older than he is, and she's too old to even have kids. I mean,
isn't it possible they're both gay?
I don't know.
I mean, not that there's anything wrong with that to do the Seinfeld thing again, but like, I thought Huma was with Hillary. I thought that was like a not so secret that they were
probably
in item. Yeah. In Alex, I mean, I'm not the first person to.
Yeah, it could be.
Ask that question.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen to this. But I would think if you had George Soros money, you were the heir, you would find, I don't know, some 30-year-old new babe that could have a family with. I don't know. So why would you choose Huma Abedin? This makes zero sense unless it's another one of these weird political arrangements. But anyway,
well, is there relate?
Huh?
What's that?
No, that was it. That was just a political.
Well, I was saying, as their relationship heats up, Antarctica's frozen. What's going on with Iran and Antarctica on your way out the door, sir?
Well, this was brought to us by Jocelyn through this out. Iran declaring Antarctica its property in direct challenge to Biden and global treaty. This is interesting that they're making a play down there. So I don't know. I always believe Antarctica is got a lot of history to it, and that it was once I believe the Earth kind of goes back and forth about every 12,000 years, and the tropics become the Arctics, and back and forth. And there's a lot of things underneath all that ice out there in Antarctica. It's a big continent with a rich secret history. And
I'm with you 100%. I think all the answers we're looking for can be found in Antarctica. As weird as it sounds, it just feels like everything points to there. And now Iran is claiming that land. Okay.
Yep, everyone wants a piece of it. So there's something going on under there, and we'll see.
Absolutely. All right. Well, Blake, I know you got to run.
Yep.
Thank you for joining us today in the fastest hour in news. Anything else on your way out the door? Tell people where to find you. Any final thoughts?
That's all I've got for now. Thank you all for listening. TV's Blake Walley, thenextlevelnews.com. I will see you next time. I'm out.
All right. Thank you, Blake. Whew. Yeah, that was a whirlwind. But we did prioritize the right story today. That Obama, all of the stuff that Obama did, it's so criminal. It is so obviously criminal. It is so. There is no nation, if we can allow what he's been doing for the past 16 years. There is no America. 15 million people. They said that's more than 20, 30 states. Completely changing the demographic of this country. This is Obama. This is Soros. It's the same players that it was 20 years ago. And I suggest that it would be a good idea to fight for having a country. I've pondered, where else could I go? Where else would I go? I was having a conversation today. I'm going to do this because my hair is funny. Maybe it'll give me like a fun screen grab. That's what I get when I put my hat like this. Instead of my hair down, I put it up, and that's kind of neat. I look like a cartoon character. I was having the conversation about, let's remember the big wins. And one of the big wins in my life was a couple of years ago, escaping Los Angeles. If you don't know, Blake and I briefly cohabitated over there. I had a condo and I was moving out. And Blake was where was he? He was in Las Vegas. Then he was in, I forget what city, in Arizona, somewhere in Arizona. Where was he in Arizona? Then he was in Utah. And it was like, look, if you want to just come on over here. So Blake stayed in the Los Angeles place. Then he escaped to Tennessee, and I escaped to Kentucky. And it's such a win. It's such a win to be out of these places, these backward blue cities. I'm always going to have an affinity, a strong affinity for Los Angeles, for San Francisco. Going up to San Francisco, love the architecture, the food, the scenery, even that overcast weather. There's something charming about it. But my God, the other stuff. We're staying in the Tenderloin district. Castro district, Tenderloin district. Good. Yes, they blew me away. The blue city blew me out of there. I'm actually wearing a blue Los Angeles jacket right now. That's kind of fun. But I love these cities. I've said this before and I will say it again. The San Francisco, like going to music clubs, going out to eat, seeing I love the architecture. The downtown area, the outer areas, the driving around, flying over top of it, walking the bridges. It's just neat. These cool American places are just being destroyed. By who? By criminals. Who in the would want to prioritize a deadbeat? It makes no sense. It doesn't make any logical sense. You prioritize the families, the schools, the children. I believe the children are a future. Prioritize cleanliness, health. It's like everything is backward. Went to Chicago, loved Chicago. There was a big festival out on the water and went and saw the band Blue October. And the singer bought me a Sam Adams. That was a fun day. Was it like the venue was called like Pabst? What was it, like PBR Hall or something? Pabst. It was a neat old place. I love Chicago. Going to Russian division and just check the energy of the place. But my God, it is a shooting gallery over there. Now, like Kansas City is much better. Look at that. They had their shooting at their parade. So of course, this is your daily reminder that it would be a great idea to have a game plan if you go into places where people congregate. When you walk in and you're like, all right, we're at exit B. And you say, this is our meeting point if things get hectic over there. If not, we meet at the car. Or as you're walking up, you go, hey, this intersection of 9th and Normandy, all right, we're going to meet right here. Otherwise, we meet at point B. So like you set a meeting if you get this world we're February 15th. We got less than a year until this election. Do you remember how weird it was 4 years ago? 3.5 years ago? And Trump was winning all the states. You're like, yeah, this is easy. Of course, Biden's the most unpopular, creepy, child sniffing, rally holding. He didn't campaign from his basement, my ass. Trump's ahead everywhere. And then wait a minute. Michigan's pausing their vote. Pennsylvania's pausing their vote. Georgia's pausing their vote. Arizona's pausing their vote. What the hell's going on? I remember doing a live show and I'm trying to just, breaking news. President Trump's been reelected second term. Obviously, he won all 50 states. Obviously. 48, 46 states. Should have been super easy as the Democrats tore through America, burning American cities all summer. Remember that? Kamala Harris and her ilk funding people and trying to get them out of jail. Their brown shirts, their thugs. The criminal cartel wreaking chaos. Remember all that? That should have been an easy blowout. But it doesn't matter who votes. It matters who counts your votes. So now there's 15 million people who have invaded our country, broken into our home. You're either invited and you're the guest, or you break in, sneak in, and you're an invader. You're a burglar. You're a home invader. What is the plan to get these people to vote? Is that the plan? Is that the reason why the Democrats have pushed for this, the Obama, Soros, Biden thing? They're saying it's all Susan Rice. Remember Susan Rice? Yes, back from the Obama days. Susan Rice. This is what they want, to bring us down a few pegs. We've gotten a little snooty up here. Riding a little too high on the hog, if you know what I mean. Is what they say. There's so much hyperbole when it comes to politics. There's so much just exaggerations, and you've heard it how many times? This is the most important election in our nation's history. This is the most important election in our nation's history. This might really be it. I don't think we survive if we don't get this right. If these intelligence agencies are not held accountable, the people that allegedly killed Kennedy right in front of you, what, because he wouldn't go into Vietnam? What the hell did we need to be in Vietnam for? You ever listen to Rooster by Alice in Chains? Wife and kids now told that. Here they come to snuff the rooster. It's a song about going to Vietnam and coming back. And the song One by Metallica. That whole video, it's like losing my sight, losing my speech, losing my arms, losing my eyes, left me with life in hell. Like these stories are the results. They spit on me in my homeland. The destruction left in the wake of the deep state is something that cannot be downplayed, ignored, or reasoned with anymore. I mean, they have pushed to a near obvious nuclear world war with Russia. For what? Because Victoria Nuland and Susan Rice and Barack Obama and Joe Biden overthrew the Ukrainian government to put their puppet, Vladimir Zelensky, in there so they could money launder more for personal gain. All those kids going through that meat grinder. This is it, people. This is a time to beg your libertarian friends, get off the sidelines, please. And maybe, look, here's my plea to you. Military action soon, Kenneth? From what direction? When the power goes off, when the power goes off, Kenneth, it could come from all directions all at once. And it's going to happen fast. So just be prepared. But the fact that they're now leaking the story that, it's likely that Russia is going to release a dirty bomb, a nuke, and it's going to blow out the infrastructure of the power grid. It's like that's what we've been talking about and warning about for 25 years. The Taibbi story, Schellenberger story. The CIA did all that. They framed Trump. They framed him. He didn't do that stuff. These were never real stories. Why has Adam Schiff not faced prosecution for his lies? Chris Wallace repeating the Fine People hoax, running cover with 51 intelligence officials are saying that the Hunter Biden laptop, which is real, and everybody knew was real, it has all the classic hallmarks of Reed's card. Russian indoctrination. Oh, does it? Oh, does it? That's so sweet. No, it doesn't. And the CIA, the deep state, have been lying to us and trying to drive us off a cliff for too long. It's going to be up to you. So please, I encourage you to have a couple more uncomfortable conversations. I did with my libertarian friend. I'm not saying it went well. I wish I could come to you today telling you how well that conversation went. I mean, but this is a guy that he'll even repeat some of the lies of the deep state about Trump and just like act like they're real stories. And I'm like, I don't know how you drank the anti-Trump Kool-Aid. You might be too far gone. But there might be other people out there in your life, in your community, at your church, at the wherever, at work. I mean, work, you gotta be careful. I mean, you gotta be careful anywhere. Because it's what BlackRock and all these large companies are trying to do. If you fit into their tight parameter of the only allowable opinions, their Overton window, if you will, your 10-yard line, first down markings across the field. If you're outside of that, the tall flower gets sliced off, but it's here. It's all here with AI, the digital tracking, everything they rolled out with COVID. We might not have another chance to get this right. So I'll leave you with this. Once again, special thanks to Blake Walley. Follow him at thenextlevelnews.com and at TV's Blake Walley. If you find our show enjoyable, and by the way, Blake may or may not be able to continue on the afternoon shows. We might do something in the evening, but this is just a reminder to follow the New American Media and the Agree to Disagree show in all the places, because we may not be streaming through Blake's channels moving forward, depending on his schedule and a few other things. But Rumble, we're the New American Media. On Telegram, we're TNAM for the New American Media, TNAM and TNAM Chat. On Truth, we're the New American Media. On X, we're at American_media_. On Facebook, we have a page for the New American Media and a group for TNAM's The Agree to Disagree Show. Instagram.com/the New American Media. Also, youtube.com/at the New American Media. I've been saying that wrong for a long time. Maybe they changed it. But we have like 13 years and, 1,400 videos on there on the YouTube channel. Spotify, the Agree to Disagree Show. I also do a sports show called the Unhappy Hour Sports Show. But please follow us in all the places, because any day we could be deleted off YouTube, deleted off Facebook, deleted somewhere. But like I said, I will write messages to carrier pigeons and release them to the wind. I will tell you what's going on, because it's a path I started down a long time ago. I had a teacher, Mr. Flaw, in the 8th grade, and he would give us bonus points, or it was like we had like a daily pop quiz, and I think the 5th or 6th question was a bonus question anyway. So it was a great way to pad the stats. All I had to do was turn on the news for 10 minutes in the morning, check the highlights. He'd ask, this hurricane is headed off the coast of South Carolina, expected to touch down on Thursday. Like, oh, Hurricane Horatio. Yes. But like, I kind of developed a sense for wanting to know what was going on. And that was, in part because of good teaching. It helped me find my interest in current events in the news. So I will do the news. I will deliver them to you for the New American Media. Follow us, find us, stay with us, subscribe. There's one more way. It's patreon.com/the New American Media. We've had a very love-hate thing going on with Patreon. Page is up, page is down, page is up, page is down. Such is life. I will do a give, send, go and find some other things. But if you wanted to sign up and help the New American Media, I think there's multiple layers. There's at least a $5 a month layer where you just sign up and, every 31 days, your credit card's dinged for $5, and that all adds up. So if anyone wants to help the New American Media, you could do so there. But I think I said a few different levels. I said like a Netflix level. It was like $16.99 or whatever it is for their monthly service. I think I did like an angel investor level for like $1,000 a month or $10,000 a month. I added a few options. So for as little as $5, you could help us out. But yeah, please follow us in all the places. But this one is serious, folks. I encourage you, have some conversations with some people. I don't know the best way to get the best arguments. I don't know if people can be swayed. But it's like I told John McAfee when we were having our conversation. Once again, I mean, look at it. All these years later, the CIA just got nuked. That was the name of the Vault 7 story, that WikiLeaks story. I had John McAfee as a guest, and we discussed it. And here we are, the CIA behind the Russian collusion hoax to frame Trump. Obama should be behind bars. Brennan behind bars. This is pure treason to the country. The CIA again, but I told John McAfee, I said something along the lines of, I have one voice this time around. I don't know how long I'm going to be allowed to use it, but I'm going to use it while I have it. I don't want 3 generations of Ukrainians being fed through a meat grinder. I think that's disgusting. I think that's demonic. I don't want to see unfettered illegal invasion of this country. I want the purchasing power of our dollar to be strong. Wouldn't it be great so we could go back to having one person raising the kids at home and one person out in the workforce? We used to be able to do that before the dollar lost, 98% of its purchase power since 1913 in the Federal Reserve? How legal was that? Can we talk about that? Ron Paul, hello? Is this thing on? Can we talk about that? But I'm appreciative that every one of you has found us on the New American Media and the Agree to Disagree show. Like I said, YouTube has 13 years of content. Please check it out. We're trying to boost the numbers of our listenership. We're getting closer to getting remonetized on YouTube. They took that away as well a couple of years ago. I won't bore you with that story again, but check out some older content, some older interviews. Click on like some of the higher ranked shows and let them play, let them watch. Hell, play them on a device in the background. Let the ads play. On Rumble. Did I mention Rumble? Rumble.com/the New American Media. We're monetized on there. Let those replays play. You know, we got a year of shows up there. So yeah, whether Blake is back for these afternoon shows or whether we morph it to an evening show or whether I go back to my old formula and start booking guests like John McAfee or go down the list. There's a lot of fun, big names that we've been able to talk to over the years. But I do enjoy digging into the news with you once, a couple times a week and figuring out what's going on. So thank you for watching. I'll be back again on Tuesday, maybe with Blake, maybe without Blake. I don't know. But follow the New American Media and follow us, the Agree to Disagree show, in the meantime, and we'll go from there. So signing out. I appreciate you. I love you. We'll talk to you again soon. Take care.